Hi, everybody. Jean Humbrecht with Humbrecht Law, criminal and traffic defense attorney in Manassas, Virginia. Welcome to our latest local business spotlight. This is in our December series of how to start and grow a successful business. Today, I have a very special guest, Carlin Ankrum, who is going to be talking about the importance of social media marketing in your overall marketing strategy. So Carlin is the founder of OSNAP Social and creator of the Fan Firestarter Framework, which is a new approach to social media marketing made specifically for businesses tempted to take their own death and flee to Tahiti at the mere thought of content creation. Fake their own death. I'm sorry, I just had eye surgery. Tempted to fake their own death and flee to Tahiti at the mere thought of content creation. Carlin developed her user-friendly strategy after working for a decade with a variety of brick-and-mortar businesses who were decidedly social allergic, as she calls it, not because they didn't want to do social media, but because they were intimidated by it. In response, her new system helps newbies get on the fast track to unsucking their social media in just 1 hour per week. All right, so with that, really interesting description, I'm going to turn it over to Carlin. Carlin, if you could just tell everybody whatever, a little bit about your business and your background and how you got into this.
Absolutely. Well, first, thank you so much for having me. I absolutely love going live. I should do it more often. So kudos to you and shout out to you for being so consistent with it. I've been in the social media space for a little over 10 years. I have a journalism background. I've always loved writing since a very early age. And now I lend those skills in a social media world that we are all forced to live in these days, and creating compelling strategy content that with the whole goal of conversion, because if we're posting just to post, we're doing it wrong, and have a lot of fun here locally as well across the country, working with a variety of clients within the OSNAP Social Agency.
Well, you just said so much in that very short period of time that I wanted to follow up on. But before I do that, and there's a reason I'm doing it this way, anybody who's watching, feel free to ask any questions in the comments. Carlin and I will try to answer them, or let us know where you are logging in from. I am coming to you from Manassas. Carlin, where are you logging in from?
I am in Bristow.
Oh, so you're very close.
Yes.
And I will tell everybody a little secret, and Carlin can correct me if I'm wrong, that, and I shouldn't even be spilling the beans, but you want engagement on your posts. So you want people to comment, you want people to like, you want them, well, commenting and sharing more than liking, but I'll let Carlin talk about, because they're actually all very different. I mean, like you want the engagement, but some types of engagements are better than others. And that's one thing that I always forget to do on my lives. I forget to tell people to write a question in the comments, because the more they do that, the more Facebook is probably going to share my video. But anyway, I'm not the expert, so I'm going to stop with that. So I think I don't even know where to start. I guess with social media, because this is a question that I had previously had. Should a business be on every social media platform, or is that not always necessary?
It's not always necessary. I just wrote a blog post about this a few weeks ago. It's called like the permission to not do all the things. It's really about knowing your audience so well that you know like where they hang out. So if they were at work and around the water cooler, you would know that they're there between lunch hours. You know that your folks hang out on Facebook, or they hang out on Instagram. So I say start with where your audience exists already, or where you think they exist. If you don't know where they exist, you should probably ask a few folks around you in your network for that like little market research. And then next I would go to, what platform do you like to use? Most of my clients, as an example, I find on LinkedIn. That's where my people hang out. That's where they're hanging out all the time. However, I love Instagram. So I do that for myself. I do that to share knowledge to other social media managers like myself, and just have that knowledge and that value-driven content over on Instagram, and a little bit of the behind the scenes. Now that LinkedIn has stories associated with that, I'm trying to show up there more as well to let people kind of see a little bit behind the curtain of what we do here. So A great mix is good, but start with your audience. And then if you want to add more, go to where you actually like putting content and sharing content and can be consistent. I'm probably going to say that 500 more times during this this live.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because even though it sounds obvious, can you explain what consistency is in terms of social media marketing? Does it mean the same day every week, the same type of post? What exactly does it mean?
Yeah, so consistency means picking a cadence, meaning the number of posts that you can commit to every single week and be intentional about it and think about, okay, what do I want people to learn from this content? What do I want people to engage with this content? What do I want people to be action takers on something in particular? Like, where am I driving traffic? So it's really picking the cadence. If it's 3 times a week, great. Be consistent 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every single week, you're putting content out there. If you're like, I'm a team of 1, great. And you're just getting your feet wet in social once a week. Is that going to be enough long-term? No. But to get your feet wet and start kind of proving to Facebook's algorithms, I always have to air quote it because I feel like algorithms is such a buzzword in my industry. But it really is where that artificial intelligence kind of comes in. So making sure that whatever you're doing, you're sticking to that consistency week after week after week to see those results that you're looking for.
I think I have not been consistent. I have been consistent that my lives are on Wednesdays at 4, but originally I was going to do them every other week, and then there was a period where I did them every week in a row, and then it got to be too much. And then now in December, I'm doing them every Wednesday. So I kind of worry, if I'm not able to keep up this pace, or am I going to lose my audience? I mean, is that something to think about too? Because and I ask that because when you start doing whatever it is that you're doing on social media, you don't know how successful it's going to be. You don't really know how much time it's going to take, and things always change. So is that something to be concerned about?
I think you have to treat social media, it's not an on-off switch. So some folks have seasonal businesses, right? And so this is like as an example. If you say in the summer you sell like boats, I'm just going with it. Big, boats for fun in the sun type of activities, your sales cycle is going to be a little bit different than others. Does that mean you're like, oh, we're only busy in the summer, so we're just going to stop posting between, September, October, and March? We're just going to stop. You have to do that much more work to get that momentum going. So I wouldn't beat yourself up of like, I'm not being consistent every single week. Ideally, we want to be consistent, but at the same time, that there's going to be a dip in people that are watching your lives. But at the same time, you're still consistently showing up regardless of, is it every week? Is it every other week? You're not turning the whole lights out and then being like, I'm back. And you're shutting the whole thing down. So I think it's just measuring the cadence, being consistent, looking at the numbers and what the numbers are telling you. Because there could be a point where you're maybe, and I have clients like, we want to post every single day. Okay, great. We look at the numbers and we're like, actually, the 3 types of posts that are working, we're posting that about 2 to 3 times a week. And the other 2 kind of fall flat. Look at the numbers. And the numbers will dictate what you should do.
Now, when you say look at the numbers, if people are not, because I know what you mean, can you explain what you mean by that?
Yes. So for my creatives out there, as a fellow creative, you do have to take the time to pop the hood on some of those insights and analytics associated with your social media accounts. Otherwise, we're doing that whole thing and we're just posting a post and we don't know what's working and we don't know what's driving traffic, and we feel like a hamster on a wheel. If you have an understanding of how much growth you're getting, and yes, it goes beyond the followers, by the way, my friends who are like, I don't have 10,000 followers. You don't need 10,000 followers to make $10,000 a year. You don't. If you have email addresses for those 10,000 followers, good on you. If you don't, let's start collecting those email addresses. Something that you own. You don't own followers. So looking at metrics are great. Understanding your growth, understanding what people like, understanding of, are you actually asking your folks to take an action? Are you asking them? And again, this goes beyond thinking about LinkedIn. This goes beyond link in bio. Are you asking people to reach out to you directly? Have that conversation in the DMs, because 9 times out of 10, when you're having that conversation one-on-one, there's going to be larger value behind that individual, because you're starting to build that relationship, right? Business is building relationships. And we have all these amazing free tools to build relationships with people who don't live in our geographical area, who maybe have different interests than us, but can benefit from our services, right? So it really amplifies what we're already doing well in a field where, especially right now, we can't like go to networking events and meet new people that way. So we're doubling down on digital, and I've seen that a lot, especially in the last like quarter of the year. People are like, okay, it's time. We need to figure something out from a strategic level on how to crush this and do this the right way, and doing it more intentionally. Because we've tried the post and pray, right? It's more than just posting the right type of content. It's about getting action on the other side of it.
Yeah, no, that is true. I was actually typing notes because you said so many things I wanted to follow up on. You mentioned, because I didn't know about this for a while, and like, shame on me, right? But when I eventually looked at the insights on Facebook, I was shocked at how my videos do much better than everything else. And I really didn't know how badly some things were doing. And when I say badly, I mean, so you can see the number of people that have viewed it. You can see the number of people that have liked it, and all that stuff. So some things that I posted that I thought would have been appropriate for me, like, for example, one of my blog posts or an article on a change in law. Like, I'm just kind of making that up. Not, which obviously is more related to what I do than this, but not getting the engagement. So, am I going to continue? And even though it doesn't take that much time to share it, it's still time. So am I going to spend my time, looking for that material, or, focusing on what's getting more engagement? And so when I saw that, I was happy the videos were doing so well, but I was also like, I can't believe all these years, all this time. Yeah.
Well, and I think that goes to, again, like, Facebook in particular is constantly changing things on us. And Facebook and Instagram love that human-to-human interaction, meaning they love when people go live. They love when people have their faces in their content. I can't tell you, it doesn't matter the industry. Every time I do a pulse check, meaning like it's an audit where I pop the hood on a client's social channels, and I look and I see, where is that benchmark? Where are we starting from? What content's performing well? What content is not? In order to then relay it into the strategy piece and developing of that. But 9 times out of 10, when I'm popping the hood on that, the top like 10 posts for the past year or 6 months, whatever the time is, it has the business owner's face in the photos, or it has clients that they serve, or it's a combo of both. Every single time. So if you are someone who's a business owner and you're listening to this right now and you're like, I don't feel comfortable taking photos and sharing it, I don't feel comfortable doing video, it's time to step out from behind the logo and do that kind of work. Because people these days, just like traditional business, right? People build relationships with other people, and that starts with showing face and being that, in marketing speak, right? Like the know, like, and trust factor. And if you are giving someone or a company your money, you want to know who's behind it. Especially right now when we have so many options to choose from. So it's time to start showing up consistently for your company, for your services, for the team that you have that's working with you. It's time, because people want to see your face. And they want to know who you are. And you don't need to be like some crazy, like, energetic hyper person like me to do that. Like, you can be you and authentically you, because you will resonate with other folks that will maybe not resonate with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things of, you don't need to be anyone else other than yourself, because I mean, we all see ads all day long, and we
Mm-hmm.
can see right through the inauthenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time. Like, that's something that I always try to get business owners to do, is video content, to your point, because it performs so well, not only because the algorithms just like love it, but
Mm-hmm.
also it helps you continue to build relationships with your audience, whether it's in your vein of service or within the community as a whole, right? So do more video, everyone, please. Like, Jean's numbers says it, all the numbers that I've run for clients say it, like, more video, more video,
Mm-hmm.
more video. And adapting videos, or adapting rather, the videos, and repurposing them in fun different ways, because Instagram now has 6 different ways you could put content in Instagram, which is insane. But yeah.
Yeah, the first time I hate listening to myself on tape and seeing myself on camera. I absolutely hate it. But I've known for years that I should do videos, and put on YouTube as another way to, get my name and face out there and exposure and, to teach people things. But I never did it. I just felt uncomfortable. And then once COVID hit and we couldn't go anywhere, that's when I started doing it. And I was super uncomfortable. If you saw that first video, good God, no, please, nobody go back and watch it. It was terrible. but oh, it was so bad. But I got over my fear and I did it. And then I kept at it and I was like, that wasn't so bad. And a lot of people watched it. Because I was talking about something related to executive orders and things going on at the time that I won't get into right now. But yeah, so I was super scared, and I'm still kind of nervous, and I feel nervous talking about that. I'm nervous doing my videos, but whatever. Yeah, I think everybody should do it. Like, whatever your business is, it doesn't have to be like an interview. Like, it can be like a how-to or whatever.
Yeah, it can be like a 1-minute tip. Or I always tell people, start with the frequently asked questions you get asked all the time that you're honestly tired of writing the email response to. Mm-hmm. And film a quick video using Loom, which is loom.com, or just like your phone, and like upload it to YouTube, and then have the link and share it to those folks that are asking those questions. And you're done. And like, you've done the video, and then it gives you value over time as well. Like, it's not like you're just doing it to do it at that point. You're doing it for a purpose, to answer people's questions, to share on social media, to start building rapport and relationships in a digital space. And if you don't know what those FAQs are, ask your sales team. If you don't have a sales team and you are the sales team, ask clients right now, like, what are some of the biggest questions you had going into this engagement with us, or whatever. They should have some great questions for you. You can post it on your social. What's one thing you wish you knew about fill in the blank topic? And they will come and they will comment. And because people love giving 3 things people love. People love interacting with people. People love giving their opinion, and people love celebrating your wins. So if you're like, I have no idea what to share, 3 things that you can do. Like, I don't want to feel braggy. I don't want to feel like I'm bragging. No, people want to see you win, and they will cheer you on. And those are the right people that you want in your circle. If they're not cheering you on, you don't want them in your circle anyway. So who cares?
Yeah, that is true.
Like, haters are going to hate. But
you mentioned asking a question on social. Yeah, I mean, recently I did that. I should have done it more often, but I put a poll on a couple of these different, Facebook groups that I'm in. Because for me, I wanted to give a presentation, but I didn't know what to talk about. Like, I mean, I could talk about anything. So what do you want to hear me talk about? So I came up with a few ideas and said, hey, which one of these would you want to hear about? Or give me another suggestion. And they did. And people voted. And I'm like, all right, that's clearly the winner. That's what people want to hear. Usually it's how to get out of a traffic ticket. And I'm not going to do that. But
nice.
Yeah. But yeah, so another thing that I wanted to ask you about, though, I mean, social's been around for a while, but we have been kind of forced into this virtual world basically since March. So if people were not active on social before that, Is it too late now? Do you find that more people are getting more active on social now because they kind of have to?
I would say it's a mixed bag. I would say people are finally coming around to the, okay, I guess we have to adopt this, or okay, I need to be on LinkedIn. It's never too late to start showing up for yourself and your business and your brand or your team in a social landscape, because the audience is so vast on these platforms that,
Mhm.
and I kind of chuckle when people are like, my audience isn't on social media. I said, okay, so on Facebook, there's 2.6 billion people on Facebook. You're telling me not one single person in those 2.6 billion people are your audience. And then
Mm-hmm.
they go, oh, well, no. Right? There is a learning curve associated. Yes, it is a long-term game. And I think that's the good thing and also the bad thing about social media is people need to practice the patience necessary in order to achieve success on this platform. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, it's not a light switch. You can't just turn it on and you're like, I'm viral. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's not a thing. Unless you're maybe on TikTok and a 15-year-old girl in a crop top. I don't know. There's always that. So I think definitely showing up consistently, and it's
Mm-hmm.
never too late. It's never too late. You are, the longer you delay it, the more opportunity that you are missing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So are there, I know we talked about going where your audience is and where you like to be, but are any of the platforms better than others? I guess if you could maybe like, obviously we're on Facebook right now. Oh, I should have went live on Instagram. That leads me to another question. I totally forgot. So this is so terrible of me. I learned months ago that you can go live, and this is all free, or maybe like $10 or something a month, super cheap.
Yeah,
Go live
stream
on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram.
all at the
Um,
same time. That's the
yeah,
awesome part about StreamYard. Yeah.
yeah. I can't believe I forgot about that until just now. I'm glad we did this
Oh,
live.
good. Yeah.
But I forgot what I was even going to ask, and then I went off on a tangent. Oh, so the different platforms. Are there any that are better for certain types of industries, or does it matter?
Yeah, I would say obviously LinkedIn is more B2B. It's a more B2B space. If you're a service provider, digital service provider, agency, anyone that serves other businesses, like you should be on LinkedIn. And you, by the way, need to update your profile and make sure that your photo doesn't look like it's from 1990. It's time to update that, my friends. I've seen some folks. I'm like, it's time. And what I love about LinkedIn right now is the organic reach is super huge. So it's a platform that you can be successful on pretty quickly. Instagram is more B2C, though there is a lot of B2B play there.
Well, wait, let me start. When you say B2B and B2C, like, can you tell people like what you mean?
Yeah,
Like,
B2B is business to business. So you're a service provider offering your services to other businesses. And then B2C is business to consumer. So you're a product-based company that provides products to other consumers in the public. That is kind of the two differentiator pieces there. LinkedIn is definitely more B2B. And then everything else.
so if I understand you correctly, you would be a B2B because your service is to help other businesses, and I would be B2C because my service is to individual people.
Correct.
Okay.
And what's interesting is, and people are like, well, I'm B2B, so I'm just going to be on LinkedIn. I say, okay, great. But that doesn't mean that just because that CEO is on LinkedIn wearing his CEO hat or her CEO hat doesn't mean that when they're on Facebook, they're not also wearing the mom hat or the dad hat, but they're also wearing the CEO hat at the same time. So you'll see B2B companies all the time running ads and posting consistently on social media over on a Facebook or even an Instagram, because they know just because it feels more skewed toward the B2C realm doesn't mean people that are interacting there aren't also business owners or the like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So something that I have struggled with, and I think Carlin and I talked about this. I talked to Carlin several months ago about having her actually help me with my social media strategy, because I think I heard you speak at something. I don't remember, but you just knew so much and were so awesome and were so helpful in such a short period of time. I'm like, oh my God, I need this woman's help. And then look, I didn't follow up with the help, and look, here I am. I forgot to put things on LinkedIn and YouTube and all that stuff
You're
live.
doing awesome. You're taking it. You're taking ownership. You're doing it. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, well, and it, like you said, it's never too late. So later or tomorrow or the next time I do this, I'm going to have to make sure I go live on those different platforms. But I wanted to ask you a question about that, because I went off on one of my tangents again. It was difficult for me to figure out where I should be. There are so many different platforms. I don't even know how to use Pinterest. I don't think it's relevant for a lawyer. I think I set up an account once years ago, and I don't know how to get back into it. I went on Instagram just because I figured I should be everywhere. And then I forgot that I had an Instagram account until Carlin tagged me today. And I'm like, oh, this looks really bad. The social media expert is tagging me on Instagram, and my post was in May. This is not good. And then Twitter, like I don't really understand how Twitter works. I mean, I get the hashtags and all that, but I did it just because I should be on there. And then LinkedIn, obviously. And I do prefer Facebook, which obviously is why I'm here. But I couldn't figure out where the best place was to be. And I still don't know what the answer to that is. So, I mean, without talking specifically about.
Well, I mean,
I'll get to that comment in a minute. Without talking specifically about my business, how can somebody figure out the best place to be? Because it is time. And by the way, like for anybody that doesn't know, there are tools that can like streamline this and put posts up for you, but it does take time, and you can't be on everything. So like, how would you suggest that somebody figure out the best place to be?
Test. I think you go, like, if you're like, oh, my audience is more B2C, okay, Facebook, and you already said you liked Facebook, so double down on Facebook, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't know who your audience really is, that's where you start. Like, and it's one of those things where if you try to do all the things, you're not going to do them well because you feel like you need to do all the things. And though you can echo content, meaning taking content and pushing it out to different channels, it still has to be formatted appropriately for each. And, you know, and then understanding where are you getting those conversions from. So over time, say you're like, I'm going to focus on LinkedIn and Facebook. Awesome. Do that. See how it goes. Have a successful goal set up for you. So you want to make sure you have, like, I think in marketing speak, we call it a SMART goal. It's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound, SMART. And it's something that you can actually measure, like quantitatively measure. If you're like, I want to grow my followers, great. If you're like, I want to grow my traffic to my website from social, then you need to make sure you have Google Analytics as an example set up on your website and measure the data that says, okay, Facebook is bringing this many new sessions, and Instagram is bringing this many, or LinkedIn is bringing this many. You can pop the hood and look at the numbers every single month to figure out, okay, out of the time and resources I'm spending, where are they being properly placed? Where am I getting the most ROI on that time?
That is true. And again, I knew that, but I never look at my Google Analytics, and that's free, right? I mean, you don't have to pay to, yeah.
Yep. Oh, these comments are funny.
Yeah. The suggestion is weed pages. I don't even know what a weed page is. Maybe I'm not going to get into that.
But I mean, I think that's a good tactic, honestly, going where groups are, where people are having conversations about things.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because, and so with what I do, it's kind of, I don't know. Sometimes I feel weird about posting in certain groups because just being a criminal defense lawyer, I don't want to come across ever as, tacky or, any bad impression, like a, stereotype that you would have of an attorney. But maybe all business owners feel like that with, I don't know. Is that a legitimate concern?
I mean, I think I always try to steer clear of giving direct advice in Facebook groups. Like, Facebook groups is something that you can easily do and go and flex your expertise muscles. But I think it's more about giving your 2 cents and then letting that person kind of either get back to you or want to take the conversation further. And so that's where I would stick within like the groups. I wouldn't, and I think you, Jean, will get in like a kind of a tricky situation if you were to like give advice for people that are asking those questions. Yeah, like, but folks like me who are in kind of the more professional service space can share a little bit and then say, hey, if you want to talk more about this or have a conversation, like email me or visit my website and we can kind of take it from there. That typically works. And a lot of these groups have a lot of people like me that are in there doing that same thing. So
I mean, that's kind of how the book turned out. I recently wrote and published my first book. It's not this is what you do when you get to court to get your case dismissed. It is, these are all the things that can happen as a result of this. Think about this, think about this, think about this. So yeah, I mean, because you don't want to be giving away too much. And I mean, for a lawyer, it's different. I can't give legal advice anyway. Like I'm ethically not allowed to do that. If I'm not, I would be, starting an attorney-client relationship with somebody. So yeah, I mean, but there is a fine, but also, like, even if it's not an ethical concern, it's, you're a business owner, people pay you for your service. You don't want to be just giving it all away. So
yeah, absolutely. I always say share the what, not the how. And that's same good with your content creation as well. Anytime you're creating content, you have to give value so people can understand you, know you, like you, trust you, and then they'll inquire about how to get it done. So an example, I spoke about a topic. You're like, I want to learn more about that. And then, and then what's the how behind it? And then that's where the conversation starts, and then it kind of goes from there. So always give value as much as you can, in the social space. And I think some people give away too much, but that's my personal opinion. Some people say, oh, there's never too much that you can give away. But I want them to actually pay for the how. And the expertise over the past 10 years in the social sphere. So awesome.
Because yeah, I mean, we all can learn these things, and there are tools that we all could use. But I mean, how much time as an individual business owner going to be spending on this? I mean, you're going to be spending so much time, which is why I think I was talking to Carlin, spending so much time working on social media, potentially in ways that aren't even working for you, when you could have somebody who is a professional, streamline it for you and give their advice. And, just because I'm consistent with these videos, I still need to sit down and talk with Carlin, because, there's always room to improve, and maybe my videos are not doing as well as I think they're doing, I don't know. So it's definitely a conversation that I think is worth having. But I wanted to point out something in the comments. It was pointed out that I am a criminal defense lawyer. My clients are criminals. But they could be everywhere, and I can't be everywhere. So, it's like you gotta narrow it down somehow. But I also did want to mention that I actually received a client that I can trace to posting in, I believe it was the Loudoun County Social Collective. I don't know if you're in that Facebook group.
Yeah. Yep.
My client told me that 2 people had referred me. But I guess he posted there, and then 2 people that I knew that I could never actually track down who it was, because I asked him and he didn't remember. But it basically, posting in that Facebook group got me a client consistently.
Yeah, and I think that's something too. Another way to track, right? Like in a contact form, again on the digital landscape, like in your contact form, you can have the question like, how did you hear about us? and then someone can say a name, or they can say a Facebook, or they can have a group. And I would leave it open-ended, because I think that also goes back to when you're measuring and you're looking at all of the data, yes, the numbers, but you're also looking at where people are coming to you in terms of business.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good piece to have as well. Oh, we got this many actual inquiries, and someone said, I saw you on Facebook. That's how I found you. And great. If it's like a Facebook group, that means you need to be doing more stuff in that Facebook group so you can't stay top of mind. Because that's
Mm-hmm.
what social is having that back and forth conversation and showing up consistently so people don't forget who you are and what you do and how you help and serve others.
I'm taking notes. Okay. So the whole way that I explained this live was we were going to talk about the importance of social media, but we were talking about all the details. So before we go,
Yeah.
Obviously people watching us are on Facebook, but I'm going to put this on YouTube later. But I guess just if somebody happens to be watching this that doesn't know the importance of social media marketing, can you explain why social media is so important in an overall marketing strategy? Like, what if somebody who's been in business for 30 years is like, I don't need social media? I mean,
so the importance of social media, again, it's not to be the end all be all for your marketing strategy. It is part of the puzzle. And if you are a business that, like we've been doing really well, we've been growing organically 30 plus years. First, that's amazing. Second, millennials and the younger generations are finding new and exciting things, brands, restaurants, companies, professional services, and they're using this.
mm-hmm.
People log into Instagram, Facebook. Well, Instagram, I think it's upwards of 14 times per day.
Wow.
It's getting more and more and more, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I was joking. I was like, I would love to see the analytics for 2020, just with everything else going on, like how much use our devices are getting, and especially in the social sphere. So, and if you are not on social media, you are missing out on an opportunity to attract new business into your business, because people are constantly on there window shopping for solutions and services and products that you have. And it's your duty to show up for those people so they know that you exist.
Yeah. I mean, just think about like if I'm looking for, a hairdresser or a plumber or something, like I'll go on Facebook. And I did this like when I had my eye surgery, when I was looking for suggestions for eye doctors. Anybody have a good, cataract surgeon that they want to recommend? Because that was something that like, if I want a friend to refer me, like I don't want to just like go to whatever's first on Google. And I posted on Facebook, and that's actually how I found the person. So,
and people trust other people. And that's why people love reviews. That's why people love asking their friends and neighbors. And now people on Facebook in these kind of more group out things are basically the equivalent of friends and neighbors that you know, like, and trust.
Yeah, know, like, and trust is very important.
Yeah, a little bit of a broken record on it, but yeah, it's very true.
I mean, but everybody knows that and everybody's heard it, but to actually like understand it, like just posting something, just advertising, like putting an advertisement up somewhere, anywhere, they might know you, but they're not really gonna know you, and that's not gonna make them like and trust you. Like if they watch a video that I'm doing, and if they think I'm hilarious or whatever, great. Or if they don't and they think I'm crazy, then, but that's how they would get to. But we don't really think about it like that. Like, and until you explained it, I didn't really think that I didn't understand that, like, that's why the videos and photos were so successful. I guess it's just a subconscious thing. I mean, like you see something that I put, like my blog post versus a video that I do. I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, people, that human interaction.
Exactly. And I think every business should be doing it, like in some capacity. And think of how many people go to YouTube, like looking up how to do things. So
all the time. Awesome.
I'm preaching to the choir here. I'm not telling Carlin things she already knows. I have no business telling Carlin anything. But
I would really love it.
is there anything else you wanted to talk about or say?
If you want to, I guess, learn more about OSNAP,
Yep.
you can go to osnapsocial.com. You can find me behind the scenes stuff, OSNAP Social Carlin, Karlyn on Instagram. I'm on Facebook and I'm on LinkedIn. Come find me and hang out. And I'll see you there. And let me know where you found me.
Yes, yes. Let Carlin know that you found her from this live.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jean. This was fun.
Yeah, it was. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it, and I need to circle back with you and follow up with all the things that I've learned over the last 9 months that I wasn't consistent about. So,
I got you.
all right. Well, thank you so much. Actually, Carlin, you can stay on because once I end the live, like we'll still be able to talk. So,
okay.
Thank you so much for coming and your time and your expertise. I really, really do appreciate it. So, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.